Hello and welcome back to English in Advance. I am your host, Jessica, and I am so incredibly happy to have you here with me today. Whether you are listening to this on your morning commute, while you are cooking dinner, or perhaps while you are taking a relaxing walk, you have made a fantastic decision to tune in. Today we are going to talk about something that is absolutely essential for your journey to fluency. We are not just talking about grammar rules or lists of vocabulary today. No, we are going deeper. We are talking about lifestyle. We are talking about how to improve your English every single day with simple, manageable habits. This episode is designed specifically for those of you who feel like you are at the intermediate level, that B1 or B2 stage, where you know a lot of English, but you still feel like you are translating in your head, or perhaps you feel stuck and unable to push through to that advanced level. Do not worry, because what we discuss today will change the way you approach your learning. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear roadmap of how to integrate English into your life naturally, so that you are learning without even realizing it. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's dive into the world of daily English habits. Let us start by addressing the biggest challenge most learners face, which is consistency. You might think that to learn English, you need to study for 2 or 3 hours a day, sitting at a desk with a heavy textbook. But the truth is, that approach often leads to burnout. You do it for a week, and then you stop. The secret to moving from intermediate to advanced is not intensity, it is consistency. It is better to spend 15 minutes with English every day than to spend 5 hours once a week. Think of it like going to the gym. If you go to the gym once a week and work out for 5 hours, you will just be sore and tired. But if you do a little bit of exercise every day, your muscles grow stronger over time. Your brain works exactly the same way. We want to build your English muscles. So the first concept I want you to embrace is the idea of micro-learning. This means using the small, empty moments in your day to consume English. Let's talk about the first major habit, which is transforming your listening environment. As an intermediate learner, you probably already listen to podcasts like this one, which is fantastic. But are you listening actively or passively? Passive listening is when you have the audio playing in the background while you are doing something else, and you are only catching maybe 30 or 40% of what is being said. This is fine for immersion, but to really improve, we need to switch to active listening for at least a small part of your day. Active listening means you are fully focused on the audio. You are listening for the melody of the language, the intonation, and the specific words the speaker chooses. A great habit to start is the 5-minute focus. Take just 5 minutes of a podcast or a video and listen to it intently. If you hear a phrase you do not understand, pause and rewind. Ask yourself why the speaker used that specific tense or that specific word. Let's try a little practice right now. I want you to listen to this sentence I am about to say and pay close attention to the stress and the rhythm. Here is the sentence. I would have called you, but I didn't have my phone. Listen again. I would have called you, but I didn't have my phone. Did you notice how the words would have blended together to sound like would have? And did you notice how the word phone is higher in pitch because it is the most important information? This is what active listening looks like. You are not just hearing information, you are analyzing the music of English. If you do this for just 5 minutes a day, your brain will start to recognize these patterns automatically in real conversations. Now, moving seamlessly from listening, let us talk about speaking. This is often the scariest part for B1 and B2 learners. You might say to yourself, Jessica, I have no one to speak with. I live in a country where English is not spoken, so I cannot practice. I am here to tell you that this is a myth. You do not need a native speaker partner to practice speaking. You can practice with the most patient person in the world, which is yourself. This brings us to our second daily habit, which is narrating your life. This is a simple but powerful technique. As you go about your day, simply say out loud what you are doing. It sounds a bit funny at first, but it works wonders for your fluency. Imagine you are making breakfast. Instead of doing it in silence, say to yourself, I am walking to the kitchen. I am taking the eggs out of the fridge. I need to find the frying pan. Oh, where is the oil? I seem to have run out of olive oil. By doing this, you are connecting the physical actions directly to the English vocabulary. You are bridging the gap between thinking and speaking. If you do not know the word for something, for example, if you are holding a spatula and you realize you do not know the word spatula in English, do not stop. Describe it. Say, I am holding the tool used for flipping eggs. This skill, the skill of describing words you do not know, is actually a sign of an advanced speaker. It is called circumlocution, and practicing it daily will make you feel much more confident when you are in a real conversation and you forget a word. Let's practice this together for a moment. I want you to look around the room you are in right now. Find one object. Maybe it is a lamp, or a window, or a cup. Now I want you to describe it out loud in full sentences. Do not just say, it is a lamp. Say, this is a tall, silver lamp that sits on my desk. It gives off a warm, yellow light that helps me read in the evening. Go ahead. I will give you a few seconds to try describing something near you. That was great. Even if you just whispered it, you are training your mouth to move in English shapes. This habit of narrating your life turns your entire day into a speaking lesson, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Building on this idea of speaking, we must discuss the concept of shadowing. You might have heard of this before, but are you doing it daily? Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say, almost at the same time. You try to mimic their speed, their emotion, and their pauses. This is excellent for pronunciation and intonation. Let's try a very short shadowing exercise together. I will say a phrase, and I want you to repeat it exactly as I say it, with the same emotion. Here is the phrase. I can't believe we finally made it here. Now you say it. I can't believe we finally made it here. Try to match my energy. If I sound excited, you sound excited. If I sound tired, you sound tired. This helps you break out of the robotic way of speaking that many students have. It teaches you that English is a language of emotion and rhythm. If you can shadow a podcast host or a character in a movie for just 2 minutes every day, you will notice your accent becoming clearer and more natural within a few weeks. Now let us flow into the topic of vocabulary. Many intermediate learners get stuck because they are memorizing lists of isolated words. You might have a notebook full of words like table, run, beautiful, and interesting. The problem is, when you speak, your brain has to work very hard to find these individual words and stick them together with grammar. This is slow and painful. The daily habit you need to adopt here is learning chunks, not words. A chunk is a group of words that naturally go together. For example, instead of just learning the word decision, learn the chunk make a decision. We do not say do a decision in English, we say make a decision. By learning the whole chunk, you do not have to think about the verb. It comes automatically. Another example is the word interested. Do not just write down interested equals curious. Write down the chunk interested in. That little preposition in is crucial. If you learn interested in as one unit, you will never make the mistake of saying, I am interested about football. You will automatically say, I am interested in football. So, your daily habit is this. Whenever you learn a new word, look for the words that surround it. Write down the sentence. Write down the phrase. Context is king. If you see a new word in a news article, do not just translate it. Look at the whole sentence. If the sentence is, the heavy rain caused a massive flood, do not just learn flood. Learn caused a massive flood. This way, you learn which adjective goes with flood and which verb causes it. This makes your speaking flow much faster because your brain is grabbing big blocks of language instead of tiny little bricks. Let us try to expand your vocabulary with a practice scenario. Imagine you are talking about your job or your studies. Instead of saying, I like my job, let's try to find a better chunk. How about I find my work incredibly rewarding? The chunk here is incredibly rewarding. It sounds much more advanced than just good. Try saying that out loud. I find my work incredibly rewarding. Or, if you are a student, instead of saying, I study hard, use the chunk, I am dedicated to my studies. Say it with me. I am dedicated to my studies. These small shifts in how you learn vocabulary will have a massive impact on how you sound. Let us move on to another crucial aspect of your daily English life, which is reading. But I am not talking about reading boring grammar textbooks. I am talking about reading for pleasure. The habit here is to read what you enjoy. If you like cooking, read recipes in English. If you like sports, read match reports in English. If you like romance novels, read them in English. The key for B1 and B2 learners is to choose the right level. If you pick up a book and there are 10 words on the first page that you do not understand, put it back. It is too hard. You will get frustrated and stop. You need to find material where you understand about 80 to 90% of the words. This allows you to guess the meaning of the new words from the context without using a dictionary every 5 seconds. This type of reading is called extensive reading. It is about reading a lot and reading fast for the general meaning. A great daily habit is to read just one news headline and the first paragraph of an article every morning. Just one. It takes 2 minutes, but it exposes you to current events and modern vocabulary. For example, if you read a headline that says, Local Council implements new recycling scheme, you might not know the word implements, but if you read the paragraph, you will understand that they are starting a new plan. So you can guess that implements means to start or to put into action. This skill of guessing from context is what native speakers do all the time. We do not know every word in the dictionary either, but we use context clues. You need to trust your intuition. Let's integrate a little visualization practice here. Close your eyes for a second if you are in a safe place. Imagine you are sitting in a comfortable chair with a warm cup of tea or coffee. You open a book written in English. You start reading, and you are not stopping to look up words. You are just flowing with the story. You feel the emotions of the characters. You are laughing at the jokes. This is the goal. Reading should not be a chore. It should be an escape. If you can make English your source of entertainment, you will never feel like you are studying. You will just be enjoying your life in English. Now, we need to discuss a habit that ties everything together. That is the habit of thinking in English. This is the holy grail for many learners. You want to stop translating from your native language. The translation process is what makes you speak slowly and hesitantly. You think in your language, you translate the grammar, you find the words, and then you speak. We want to cut out the middleman. We want to go straight from thought to English. How do we do this? We start small. The daily habit is to have specific trigger moments where you switch your brain to English mode. For example, every time you walk through a doorway, tell yourself you will think in English for the next 2 minutes. Or every time you are brushing your teeth, that is your English thinking time. Start with simple naming. Look at the mirror, the toothbrush, the water. Name them in your head. Then move to sentences. I am brushing my teeth. The water is cold. Then move to feelings. I am feeling tired today. I hope I sleep well tonight. By associating a physical habit like brushing your teeth with a mental habit of thinking in English, you create a routine that sticks. Let's try a thinking exercise right now. I want you to plan your next meal in your head, but do it entirely in English. Do not translate. Visualize the food and use the English words directly. Think about what you will eat. Will you have a sandwich? Rice? A salad? Think about the ingredients. Think about the taste. Is it salty? Sweet? Spicy? Form these thoughts directly in English. If you catch yourself thinking in your native language, gently switch back. It takes practice, but if you do this for just a few minutes every day, your brain will start to create neural pathways that connect concepts directly to English words. Eventually, you will find that you are dreaming in English, which is a wonderful sign that your brain has fully accepted the language. Another powerful daily habit is journaling. I know writing can feel like a lot of work, but I am not asking you to write an essay. I'm asking you to write 3 sentences a day. That is it. 3 sentences. You can do this on your phone, in a notebook, or even on a sticky note. This is called the gratitude journal method, or simply a daily recap. Before you go to sleep, write down 3 things that happened today, or 3 things you are grateful for. Why is this effective? Because writing allows you to slow down. When you speak, you have to be fast. But when you write, you have time to think about that grammar rule you learned. You have time to choose the perfect word. It gives you a space to experiment. You might write, "Today I had a delicious lunch with my colleague." Then you might look at it and think, is there a better word than delicious? Maybe I can use tasty or flavorful. This micro-editing process helps you refine your vocabulary. And when you write it down, you are more likely to remember it when you speak. Let's imagine you are writing your entry for today. How would you describe listening to this podcast? You could write, I listened to a podcast about English habits. It was helpful. That is good B1 English. But let's try to upgrade it to B2 or C1. How about I tuned into an insightful podcast regarding daily English routines. It provided some practical tips for boosting fluency. Can you feel the difference? Writing gives you the safety to try out words like tuned into or insightful without the pressure of someone looking at you waiting for an answer. We must also talk about the influence of your digital environment. We spend so much time on our phones. A very simple habit that you can do right now is to change the language settings on your phone to English. It seems small, but think about how many times a day you look at your phone. You will see words like settings, notifications, privacy, storage, brightness. These are all useful technical vocabulary words. By seeing them hundreds of times a day, you will learn them effortlessly. Also, look at your social media feed. Who are you following? If you are only following people who speak your native language, your feed is a bubble. Break that bubble. Follow English teachers, yes, but also follow English-speaking chefs, travelers, comedians, or news outlets. When you are scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, make sure that every third or fourth post is in English. This brings the immersion to you. You do not have to go looking for English. English will come to you while you are relaxing. Let's talk about the mindset you need for these habits to work. You need to develop a tolerance for ambiguity. This is a fancy way of saying you need to be okay with not understanding everything. Many B1 and B2 learners panic when they hear a word they do not know. They freeze. They stop listening. You need to change this reaction. When you hear a new word, be curious, not afraid. Treat it like a puzzle. If you are listening to a podcast and you miss a sentence, let it go. Focus on the next one. The goal is communication, not perfection. Perfection is the enemy of fluency. If you wait until you speak perfectly, you will never speak. You have to be willing to make mistakes. In fact, you should celebrate your mistakes. A mistake is just evidence that you are trying something new. If you never make mistakes, it means you are only using the simple English you already know perfectly. You are staying in your comfort zone. To grow, you must step out of that zone. So make a deal with yourself. Tell yourself, today I will make at least 5 mistakes in English. Maybe you use the wrong preposition, or you pronounce a word strangely. That is fine. Laugh about it. Correct it if you can, and move on. This lightness, this lack of pressure, will actually make you speak better because your brain is relaxed. When you are stressed, the language center of your brain shuts down. When you are relaxed and happy, it opens up. Now, let us bring all of these habits together into a sample day so you can see how easy this is. Imagine your alarm goes off. You pick up your phone and see the date and weather in English because you changed your settings. That is habit 1. While you are making coffee or tea, you narrate the process. I am boiling the water. I am pouring the milk. That is habit 2. On your way to work or school, you listen to this podcast and do 5 minutes of active listening, where you focus intently on the sounds. That is habit 3. During your lunch break, you read 1 headline and 1 paragraph of an English news site. That is habit 4. In the afternoon, you see a post on social media in English, and you read the comments. That is habit 5. Finally, before bed, you write 3 sentences about your day in your journal. That is habit 6. Notice that none of these things required you to sit at a desk for an hour. None of them required a heavy textbook. They are woven into the fabric of your life. This is how you go from being someone who learns English to being someone who lives in English. It is a shift in identity. You are no longer just a student. You are a user of the language. If you have been practicing the habits we just discussed, like narrating your life or active listening, you are already laying a foundation that is stronger than 90% of English learners. But now we are going to level up. We are going to look at the subtle, nuanced habits that separate a good speaker from a great one. We are going to talk about flow, about confidence under pressure, and about using technology to become your personal tutor. One of the most significant markers of an advanced speaker is the ability to use connected speech. When native speakers talk, we do not pronounce every word separately like a robot. We do not say, "I want to go to the park." We say, "I want to go to the park." We link the end of one word to the beginning of the next. For intermediate learners, this can be very frustrating because you know the individual words, but you cannot understand them when they are glued together. The daily habit to fix this is called the linking practice. Every day, pick one sentence from a movie, a song, or a podcast. Write it down. Then, look for where the sounds connect. Usually, a consonant sound at the end of a word will link to a vowel sound at the beginning of the next word. For example, look at the phrase "turn it on." When we say this naturally, the N in turn moves over to the I in it, and the T in it moves over to the O in on. It sounds like turn it on. Turn it on. Try saying that. It sounds like one long, strange word, doesn't it? But that is the secret to fluency. Let's practice this right now. I want you to say the sentence "clean up the mess," but I want you to link "cleanin' up." The N sound should slide into the U sound. Clean up. Clean up the mess. Do you feel how much smoother that is? Your tongue does not have to stop moving. This habit of identifying links will help your listening comprehension skyrocket because you will stop looking for gaps between words and start understanding the flow of the sentence. Spend 2 minutes a day finding these links. Mark them on paper with a little curved line connecting the letters. Visualizing the sound helps your brain process it. Now let us tackle a habit that is often uncomfortable but incredibly effective. That habit is recording yourself. I know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. It makes us cringe. We think, do I really sound like that? But this discomfort is exactly where the growth happens. When you speak in real time, you are too busy thinking about what to say to notice your pronunciation errors. But when you listen to a recording of yourself, you become the teacher. You can hear that you forgot the AS on the end of the verb. You can hear that your T sound sounded like a Z. Here is your daily challenge. Use the voice recorder app on your phone. Record yourself speaking for just 60 seconds. You can talk about what you ate for lunch, or summarize a movie you watched, or simply read a paragraph from a book. After you record it, listen to it immediately. Do not judge yourself. Do not say, "Oh, my English is terrible." Instead, be a detective. Look for one thing you did well and one thing you want to improve. Maybe you noticed that your rhythm was good, but you paused too much. That is valuable data. If you do this every day for a month, you will have a library of 30 recordings. You can listen to the first one and the last one, and the difference will amaze you. It provides tangible proof of your progress, which is the best motivation there is. Let us discuss the role of technology in your daily routine. You likely have a smartphone with a voice assistant, like Siri or Google Assistant. These AI tools are excellent practice partners because they do not have the ability to guess what you mean. If your pronunciation is not clear, they will not understand you. This forces you to be precise. A great daily habit is to ask your phone questions in English. Instead of typing the weather forecast, ask, "Hey, what is the weather like today?" Or ask, "Set a timer for 10 minutes." Or, "Find a recipe for banana bread." If the phone understands you perfectly, give yourself a high five. If it writes down something completely different, try again. Change your intonation. Enunciate the consonants more clearly. It is a game, but it is a game that trains your mouth to speak standard, clear English. Moving deeper into vocabulary, we need to talk about the trap of basic words. As a B1 or B2 learner, you rely heavily on words like good, bad, happy, and sad. These words are fine, but they are boring. They do not paint a picture. To sound more sophisticated, you need to adopt the synonym swap habit. Every day, catch yourself using a basic word and swap it for a stronger one. For example, imagine you want to say, "The movie was good." Stop. Swap good for something specific. Was it gripping? Was it hilarious? Was it moving? Was it thought-provoking? By choosing a specific word, you show that you have a command of the language. Let's practice this. I am going to give you a basic sentence, and I want you to think of a stronger word to replace the adjective. Here's the sentence. The test was very hard. What word can replace hard? Maybe difficult, challenging, grueling, demanding. Try saying the sentence with one of those words. The test was grueling. Can you feel the difference in intensity? The word grueling implies that it was exhausting and painful, not just hard. Make a list of your 5 most used adjectives. Maybe they are nice, big, small, easy, and interesting. Go to a thesaurus and find 3 alternatives for each of them. Write them down and stick them on your fridge. For the next week, ban the basic words. Force yourself to use the new ones. It will feel strange at first, like wearing a new pair of shoes. But soon they will become comfortable, and your English will sound much more colorful and expressive. Let us switch gears to a habit that involves your social life. Language is meant to be shared. It is a tool for connection. But many learners are isolated. A fantastic daily habit is to engage in the comment section of content you enjoy. I am not talking about arguing with strangers on the internet. I am talking about leaving thoughtful, positive comments on YouTube videos, Instagram posts, or blogs that are in English. When you watch a video about travel, do not just watch it. Scroll down and write 2 sentences. Write, "I loved how you described the mountains. It makes me want to visit Switzerland one day." Why is this a good habit? Because it is real-world communication. You are writing for an audience. Someone might like your comment. Someone might reply. That little notification bell gives you a dopamine hit that associates English with social reward. It makes you feel part of the global conversation. Plus, reading other comments exposes you to informal English, slang, and internet abbreviations that you will never find in a textbook. It teaches you how real people actually talk to each other. Another psychological barrier we need to break is the fear of silence. In many cultures, silence in a conversation is awkward. So when you are speaking English and you cannot find a word, you panic. You say, and you get flustered. We need to build the habit of the strategic pause. When you are speaking and you get stuck, do not panic. Just stop. Take a breath. Look the other person in the eye. A pause of 2 or 3 seconds feels like an eternity to you, but to the listener, it just looks like you are thinking. It makes you look thoughtful and confident. Practice this daily. When you are narrating your life or doing your self-talk, force yourself to pause between sentences. Count to 2 in your head. This slows down your racing heart. It gives your brain a chance to catch up with your mouth. It allows you to formulate the next sentence grammatically before you start speaking it. Fluency is not about speaking fast. It is about speaking smoothly. A slow, smooth speaker sounds much better than a fast, choppy speaker. So embrace the silence. Use it as a tool to regain control. Let's incorporate a habit for those of you who need English for work or professional settings. This is called the business visualization habit. Before you start your workday, or while you are commuting, visualize a specific work scenario in English. Imagine you are in a meeting. Imagine your boss asks you for an update on a project. How do you answer? Do not just think about the general idea. Think of the specific phrases. Instead of saying, "I am done with the project," try thinking, "I have completed the project and submitted the report." Instead of saying, "I don't agree," try thinking, "I see your point, but I have a different perspective." Practicing these professional phrases in the safety of your imagination primes your brain to use them when the pressure is on. You can even practice writing professional emails in your head. Draft the subject line. Draft the opening greeting. This mental rehearsal reduces anxiety because when the real situation happens, your brain feels like it has already been there. Now, we must talk about the importance of idioms and phrasal verbs. These are the seasoning of the English language. Without them, your English can taste a bit bland, but memorizing a list of 100 idioms is useless because you will never remember them at the right moment. The daily habit here is the one idiom rule. Focus on just one idiom or phrasal verb per day. Just one. Let's say today's phrase is run out of. First, understand the logic. You are running and you are out of something. It means you have none left. Now, throughout your day, look for situations where this applies. You open the fridge. No milk. Say to yourself, "Oh, I have run out of milk." You look at your phone battery. It is at 1%. Say, "I am running out of battery." You look at the clock. You are late. Say, "I am running out of time." By applying this one phrase to multiple situations in your real life, you cement the meaning. Do not move on to a new idiom until you have used the current one at least 5 times naturally. It is better to know 50 idioms perfectly than to know 500 that you cannot use. Let's try a quick practice with this. I want you to think of something you used to have, but now it is gone. Maybe it is patience. Maybe it is sugar. Maybe it is money. Make a sentence with run out of. I will give you a second. Did you come up with something? Maybe I have run out of patience with this traffic. Or we ran out of coffee this morning. This active application is what transfers vocabulary from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Let us go even deeper into the concept of immersion. You might watch movies or TV shows in English, which is great. But are you using the subtitle strategy effectively? If you are a B1 or B2 learner, you should be transitioning away from subtitles in your native language. If you watch with native subtitles, your brain is just reading, not listening. You need to switch to English subtitles. This connects the sound to the spelling. But the ultimate habit is to watch a scene twice. First, watch it with English subtitles to understand the plot and the vocabulary. Then, turn the subtitles off and watch it again. Your brain already knows what is happening, so it can relax and focus entirely on the listening. Can you hear the words you just read? Can you catch the emotion? This re-watching habit trains your ears to decode the blur of sounds that native speakers make. It is intense, so do not do it for a whole movie. Just do it for one scene, maybe 3 minutes long. Treat that scene like a study session. We also need to address the physical aspect of speaking English. English might use different muscles in your mouth than your native language does. For example, English requires a lot of tongue movement and lip rounding. If your mouth does not hurt a little bit after practicing, you might not be exaggerating enough. A fun daily habit is the gym for your mouth. Spend 1 minute making exaggerated face movements. Stick your tongue out, stretch your mouth wide like a clown, pucker your lips like a fish. Then practice the difficult sounds. If you struggle with the R sound, growl like a dog. Grrr. Right. Red River. If you struggle with the T sound, stick your tongue out between your teeth and blow air. Thu. Think. Thank. Thought. Warming up your articulators makes speaking feel lighter and easier. It is like stretching before a run. You will stumble less because your muscles are ready to perform. Let us talk about the concept of curiosity. Children learn languages so fast because they are endlessly curious. They ask why all the time. As adults, we often stop asking why. We just want the answer. To improve your English daily, you need to reignite that curiosity. Be a collector of words. When you are walking down the street, look at signs. Look at advertisements. If you see a word you do not know, do not just ignore it. Pull out your phone and look it up. For example, maybe you see a sign that says pedestrians only. You know what only means, but what is a pedestrian? You look it up and realize it means people walking. Now, every time you walk on that street, you will remember, I am a pedestrian. The world is full of free English lessons if you keep your eyes open. This habit turns your environment into a classroom. You do not need to be in London or New York to find English. It is on T-shirts, it is on product packaging, it is on the internet. It is everywhere. Now, I want to touch on a very subtle but powerful habit: emotional connection. We remember things that make us feel something. If you are learning English sentences that are boring, you will forget them. You need to connect English to your own life story. When you are practicing speaking, talk about your childhood. Talk about your dreams. Talk about your first love. Talk about your biggest fear. Let's try this. Think of a memory that makes you really happy, maybe a holiday or a celebration. Describe that memory in English. The sun was shining. The food was delicious. I felt so free. When you attach English words to real strong emotions, the memory bond is unbreakable. Your brain says, "Oh, this is important. I must keep this." So do not just describe a generic picture in a textbook. Describe your own photos. Open your phone gallery, pick a photo from last year, and tell the story of that photo in English. Who is in it? Where were you? What were you doing? This is personal, meaningful practice. As we move forward in this deep dive, we need to shift our focus slightly to the soul of the language. We are going to explore how to handle social situations, how to understand culture, and how to use your weekends to create mini immersion experiences right in your own home. Let us begin with a topic that terrifies even the most confident B2 learners, and that is small talk. In many textbooks, small talk is presented as a simple exchange. "Hello, how are you?" "I am fine, thank you, and you?" But in the real world, small talk is a complex dance. It is how we build trust. It is how we make friends. And if you translate your native small talk directly into English, it can sometimes feel a bit stiff or awkward. The daily habit I want you to develop here is the echo technique. This is a brilliant way to keep a conversation going when you do not know what to say. The rule is simple. When someone tells you something, listen to the last few words they said and repeat them back as a question. For example, imagine a colleague says, "I went to a really great restaurant last weekend." Instead of panicking and trying to think of a new topic, simply echo them. You say, "A great restaurant?" and then wait. This invites them to elaborate. They might say, Yes, it was an Italian place downtown. You can echo again. Downtown, they say, yes, near the old library. By doing this, you are showing interest, you are keeping the conversation flowing, and you are buying yourself time to think. It makes you sound like a fantastic listener. Practice this in your head. Imagine someone saying, I am thinking of buying a new car. You think, a new car. It is simple, it is natural, and it takes the pressure off you to be interesting. You just have to be interested. Now let's go deeper into the nuance of politeness. English, especially British and American English, relies heavily on what we call softeners. We rarely give direct commands. We do not say, open the window. That sounds aggressive. We say, could you possibly open the window, or would you mind opening the window? As an intermediate learner, one of the best daily habits you can adopt is the politeness filter. Before you speak, imagine your sentence going through a filter that adds softness. If you are at a cafe and you want a coffee, do not just say, I want a coffee. That is grammatically correct, but socially rough. Run it through the filter. I would like a coffee, please. Or could I get a coffee? Practice this transformation daily. Look at the objects around you. If you wanted someone to pass you the remote control, how would you ask? Pass me the remote? No. Can you pass me the remote? Better. Would you mind passing me the remote? Perfect. This habit of softening your language will change how people react to you. They will be friendlier, more patient, and more willing to help you because you sound respectful and sophisticated. Let us transition to how you manage your weekends. During the week, your time is limited. You have work, school, family. The micro habits we discussed earlier are perfect for those busy days. But the weekend offers a unique opportunity for a weekend English retreat. You do not need to buy a plane ticket. You just need to change your home environment. Pick one day, maybe Saturday or Sunday, and declare it an English day. Tell your family or your roommates, or just tell yourself, that for the next 4 hours you will live as if you are in London or New York. Start your English day with an English breakfast. Look up a recipe in English. Maybe you make pancakes or a full English breakfast. While you cook, listen to an English radio station. There are thousands available online. Listen to the DJs chatting, the commercials, the news updates. It creates a sonic backdrop of English. Then, when you sit down to eat, do not watch the news in your native language. Watch a morning show in English. Watch the weather report in English. For the afternoon of your weekend retreat, I want you to try a specific activity called the deep dive. Pick a topic you are genuinely interested in. It could be gardening, coding, makeup, history, or football. Spend 2 hours consuming content only about that topic. Read a blog post, watch a YouTube documentary, and listen to a podcast interview with an expert in that field. Why is this effective? Because you will hear the same specific vocabulary repeated over and over again in different contexts. If you are watching gardening videos, you will hear soil, seeds, plant, water, bloom 50 times. This repetition within a specific context cements the words in your brain much faster than jumping from topic to topic. By the end of the afternoon, you will be an expert on that topic in English. Now, we must address a very real part of learning a language, which is understanding humor. Humor is often the final frontier. It is the last thing to click. You might understand every word in a joke but not understand why it is funny. This is usually because humor relies on culture, wordplay, or shared history. To improve this, I suggest the daily habit of the comedy study. Find a stand-up comedian who speaks relatively clearly. Do not start with someone who speaks very fast or uses a lot of slang. Watch just one short clip, maybe 2 minutes long. If the audience laughs and you do not, pause the video. Ask yourself why. Is it a double meaning? Did the word change meaning? Read the comment section. Usually, someone will explain the joke. Do not feel bad if you do not get it. Humor is hard, but by analyzing it, you learn about the culture. You learn what people find funny, which tells you a lot about their values and their daily lives. Over time, you will start to catch the sarcasm. You will start to hear the irony. And the first time you laugh at a joke in English naturally without translating it is a magical moment. It feels like you have truly unlocked the language. Let us talk about the variety of English. As a learner, you might be used to one specific accent. Maybe you learned American English in school or maybe British English, but the world is full of different Englishes. Australian, Irish, South African, Singaporean, Scottish. If you only listen to one type, you will panic when you hear a different one. The daily habit here is the accent tour. Once a week, deliberately seek out content from a country you are not familiar with. If you are used to American accents, listen to a podcast from Australia. At first, it might be hard. You might wonder, why are they pronouncing the vowels like that? But your ear is an incredibly adaptive instrument. If you expose it to variety, it becomes more flexible. You stop listening for specific sounds and start listening for patterns. This makes you a global citizen. It ensures that whether you are in a business meeting in Dubai or a hostel in Dublin, you can understand and be understood. It builds resilience in your listening skills. Now, I want to discuss the concept of reading between the lines. In B1 and B2, English, you focus on the literal meaning of words. But in real life, people often say one thing but mean another. For example, if you invite someone to a party and they say, "I will try to make it," that usually means no. They are being polite. If you ask a colleague for help and they say, "That might be a bit difficult," they are saying no. This is called indirect communication. To practice this, I recommend watching dramas or soap operas. These shows are full of interpersonal conflict and hidden meanings. Watch a scene where two characters are arguing or negotiating. Look at their faces. Listen to their tone. Are they happy? Are they angry? Does their tone match their words? If a character says, "Fine, do whatever you want," but they say it with a low, angry voice, they definitely do not mean fine. They mean the opposite. Developing this emotional intelligence in English is crucial for advanced fluency. It stops you from making social mistakes and helps you navigate relationships more smoothly. Let us bring in a habit for those of you who love music. Lyrics are a fantastic way to learn, but only if you use them correctly. Passive listening is fun, but for learning, you need the lyric breakdown. Pick one song per week. Print out the lyrics. Read them like a poem. Circle the phrases you do not know. Often songs use poetic language or slang that breaks grammar rules. That is okay. It is artistic expression. Try to sing along, but focus on the rhythm. English is a stress-timed language, meaning the rhythm comes from the stress syllables. Music exaggerates this. If you can rap along to a hip-hop song or sing a ballad with the correct timing, you are mastering the rhythm of the language. Plus, songs get stuck in your head. This is called an earworm. Use this to your advantage. If you have a song with the phrase "I should have known better" stuck in your head, You are repeating a complex grammar structure, perfect modal verbs over and over again without any effort. That is painless learning. Another aspect of daily life is news and current events. However, the news can be depressing and overwhelming. A better habit for B1 to B2 learners is to follow human interest stories. These are stories about people, not politics. Look for websites that share positive news or inspirational stories. The language in these stories is usually more descriptive and emotional than hard news. You will learn words like determination, kindness, community, struggle, and triumph. Read one of these stories every morning. It starts your day on a positive note. And because it is a story, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, which makes it easier to follow than a complex economic report. Retell the story to yourself while you are showering. There was a man who rescued a dog. The community came together to build a park. This retelling practice tests your ability to summarize and sequence events, which is a key skill for intermediate learners. Let us talk about the physical environment of your home again. We talked about sticky notes, but let's take it a step further. Let's talk about your vision board. If you do not have one, make one. Get a corkboard or just use a space on your wall. Put up pictures of your goals. Maybe a photo of London, a photo of a university you want to attend, or a logo of a company you want to work for. But here is the English twist. Write captions for every picture in English. Under the picture of London, do not just write London. Write, I am walking through the streets of London confidently. Under the picture of the job, write, I am a successful professional communicating clearly in English. Every time you look at this board, you are reading these affirmations. You are programming your subconscious mind to believe that this reality is possible, and you are doing it in English. This associates the language with your deepest desires and your future success. Now, I want to address the fear of judgment again, but from a different angle. Often we are afraid that people will judge our accent. We want to sound like a native speaker. But I want to tell you something important. Your accent is your history. It tells the story of where you came from. It is part of your identity. You do not need to eliminate your accent to be fluent. You just need to be clear. The daily habit here is clarity over accent. When you practice speaking, do not try to force a fake American or British twang if it feels unnatural. Focus on enunciating the sounds clearly. Open your mouth. Articulate the consonants. If you speak clearly, people will understand you and they will respect you. In fact, many people find foreign accents charming and interesting. So drop the pressure to sound exactly like the Queen of England. Just sound like the best, clearest version of yourself. Let us introduce a habit called the synonym challenge. We talked about swapping adjectives, but this is about rephrasing entire sentences. This is a vital skill for when you get stuck. If you are in a conversation and you forget the word for expensive, you need to be able to explain it another way. You need to be able to say, it costs a lot of money or the price is very high. Practice this while you are commuting. Look at a billboard. Read the slogan. Then, try to say the same message using completely different words. If the billboard says, the ultimate driving machine, you might rephrase it as, the best car for driving, or a vehicle designed for perfect performance. This mental flexibility is what makes you fluent. It means you are never trapped by a missing word because you always have a backup plan. You have multiple roads to the same destination. I want to suggest a habit regarding your digital life. The Wikipedia rabbit hole. We all know Wikipedia. It is a vast ocean of information. For an English learner, it is a goldmine. Once a week, go to the Wikipedia homepage. Look at the featured article of the day. It might be about a rare butterfly, a historical battle, or a Japanese anime. Read the first paragraph. If it interests you, click on a blue link inside that paragraph. Then read that page. Then click another link. Follow the trail wherever it leads you. This exposes you to random, academic, and technical vocabulary that you would never encounter in a normal conversation. You might learn words like metamorphosis, strategic, or animation. It widens your general knowledge base in English, and because it is a bit of an adventure, it feels less like studying and more like exploring. Let's talk about the power of teaching. They say the best way to learn something is to teach it. You might think, I cannot teach, I am just a learner. But you can. You can teach what you know. If you have a friend who is at a lower level than you, maybe an A2 learner, offer to help them. Explain a grammar point that you just mastered. When you have to explain the difference between make and do to someone else, you have to understand it perfectly yourself. You have to organize your thoughts. You have to find examples. This process solidifies the knowledge in your own brain. If you do not have a friend, teach your pet. Teach your houseplant. Teach an imaginary classroom. Stand in front of a mirror and give a lecture on the present perfect tense. It sounds crazy, but vocalizing the rules helps you internalize them. We should also discuss the concept of resting in English. Sometimes you are too tired to study. You are too tired to focus. That is okay, but you can still keep the English channel open. This is where ambient English comes in. Put on a movie or a podcast that you have already seen or heard. Turn the volume down low. Lie on the couch and close your eyes. Just let the sounds wash over you. You do not need to understand everything. You are just letting your brain soak in the rhythm and the melody. It is like sleeping with a white noise machine. But the white noise is English. This keeps your brain tuned to the frequency of the language even when you are resting. It prevents that feeling of culture shock when you start studying again the next day. Moving from just surviving in English to thriving in English, let us tackle some of the more psychological hurdles that B1 and B2 learners face. We are going to look at how to train your brain to handle speed, how to develop critical thinking in English, and how to use your emotions to lock in vocabulary. Let us start by addressing a common complaint I hear from intermediate learners. You might say, Jessica, I can understand you because you speak clearly, but when I hear native speakers talking to each other, they speak so fast I cannot catch anything. This is the speed barrier. Native speakers do not actually speak faster than you. They just cut corners. They reduce sounds. To train your ears for this, I want you to try the speed training habit. This involves using the technology in your podcast or video player. Here's what you do. Take a podcast episode, maybe even this one, and change the playback speed to 1.2 or 1.5 times the normal speed. Listen to it for about 5 minutes. It will sound like a chipmunk. It will be fast and chaotic, and your brain will have to work extremely hard to keep up. You might only catch 50% of it. That is okay. After 5 minutes, switch the speed back to normal, to 1.0. Suddenly, the normal speed will sound incredibly slow. It will feel like the speaker is talking in slow motion. Every word will sound crisp and clear. This is like running with weights on your ankles. When you take the weights off, you feel light and fast, By overtraining your brain with high speed, you make normal speed feel easy. Do this once a day, and you will stop being afraid of fast talkers. Now, let us move to a higher level cognitive skill, critical thinking. At the B1 and B2 levels, you are good at describing things. You can say, "The sky is blue," or "I went to the store." But can you argue? Can you persuade? Can you analyze? To reach the C levels, you need to be able to structure an argument. The daily habit here is the 1-minute debate. You do not need a partner for this. You can debate with yourself. Pick a controversial but harmless topic. For example, cats are better than dogs, or summer is better than winter. Set a timer on your phone for 1 minute. For that 60 seconds, you must argue passionately for one side. Use connecting words like "furthermore, however, on the other hand," and "consequently." When the timer goes off, reset it. Now you must argue for the opposite side for 1 minute. This forces you to switch your vocabulary and your perspective instantly. It trains your brain to access persuasive language quickly. It is a mental workout that pushes you out of your comfort zone and helps you realize that you can express complex thoughts, not just simple observations. Let us expand on the idea of vocabulary. We talked about chunks earlier, but now I want to introduce you to the concept of collocations. These are words that naturally live together like best friends. For example, we say fast food, but we do not say quick food. We say do homework, but we do not say make homework. Native speakers know these intuitively, but learners often guess and get them wrong. The daily habit is the collocation hunt. When you are reading or listening, do not just look for new words. Look for the partners of the words you already know. If you see the word rain, look at what adjective is next to it. Is it heavy rain, driving rain, torrential rain? If you see the word advice, look for the verb. Do we give advice? Do we take advice? Write these pairs down together. Never separate them. If you learn heavy rain as a single unit, you will never make the mistake of saying strong rain. This is one of the fastest ways to sound natural. If you use the correct collocations, your English sounds smooth and idiomatic. If you use the wrong ones, even if the grammar is perfect, you will sound a bit strange. So become a hunter of these word pairs. We must also talk about the physical sensation of speaking. Sometimes we get stuck because we are tense. Our jaw is tight, our shoulders are up, and our breathing is shallow. You cannot speak fluent English if your body is in panic mode. The daily habit to fix this is the reset breath. Before you enter a situation where you have to speak English, maybe a meeting or a phone call, take 3 seconds. Inhale deeply through your nose, expanding your belly, not your chest. Hold it for a second. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. As you exhale, visualize the tension leaving your jaw and your tongue. Remind yourself that you are safe. Remind yourself that it is just a language, not a life or death situation. This physical reset lowers your cortisol levels. It tells your brain that there is no tiger chasing you, so it is safe to access the language center. It is a tiny habit, but it prevents that horrible feeling of your mind going blank. When you are relaxed, the words flow. When you are tense, the gate closes. Keep the gate open with your breath. Let us discuss the role of imagination. Have you ever tried the reporter technique? This is a fun way to practice narrating in real time. Imagine you are a news reporter standing in your own living room. You are holding an invisible microphone. Your job is to report on the breaking news of your life. Stand in front of the mirror and say, I am currently standing in the kitchen where a delicious dinner is being prepared. The onions are sizzling in the pan, and the smell is absolutely incredible. We are expecting the meal to be served in approximately 10 minutes. Back to you in the studio. It sounds silly, right? But acting involves emotion and projection. When you pretend to be a reporter, you naturally speak clearer and louder. You use more energetic intonation. You can do this while walking the dog, reporting on the weather or the traffic. It adds a layer of playfulness to your practice. And remember, play is the highest form of research. If you are having fun, you are learning. Now, I want to talk about a habit for those of you who are visual learners. We live in an age of images. You scroll through Instagram or Pinterest and see hundreds of photos. Use this. The habit is called image description. Stop scrolling on a random photo. Maybe it is a picture of a beautiful landscape or a busy city street. Give yourself 30 seconds to describe everything you see in that image in English. Start with the foreground. What is in the front? Then move to the background. What is behind? Use prepositions of place. In the top left corner, there is a bird. Next to the building, there is a red car. This trains your spatial awareness vocabulary. It forces you to retrieve nouns quickly. If you see a specific type of tree and you do not know the word, look it up immediately. That visual association, seeing the tree in the photo and learning the word, creates a very strong memory link. Let us transition to the concept of summarizing. Being able to summarize is a high-level skill. It shows that you understand the main ideas and can filter out the noise. The daily habit is the daily recap. At the end of your day, maybe while you are brushing your teeth or lying in bed, summarize your day in exactly 3 sentences. Not 2, not 4, 3. This constraint forces you to prioritize information. You cannot list every single thing you did. You have to decide what was important. For example, today was a productive day at work because I finished the big report. However, I forgot to buy milk on the way home, so I had to drink black coffee. I am looking forward to resting this weekend. This exercise organizes your thoughts. It practices connecting words like however and so. It helps you structure a narrative. If you do this every night, you will become very good at getting to the point quickly, which is a trait of advanced speakers. I want to touch on the idea of dreaming in English. Students always ask me, Jessica, how can I dream in English? You cannot force a dream, but you can prime your brain. The habit is called the bedtime priming. The last thing you do before you sleep should be in English. Do not scroll through social media in your native language right before you close your eyes. Instead, read a page of an English book, or listen to a quiet English meditation, or simply repeat a mantra to yourself in English. Say, I am a confident English speaker. I absorb English easily. By making English the last input your brain receives before sleep, you increase the chances that your subconscious will process that information during the night. It is like planting a seed right before the rain comes. Give your brain English fuel to work with while you are sleeping. Let us explore the concept of intuition. Native speakers know when a sentence sounds wrong, even if they cannot explain the grammar rule. They just say, it sounds funny. You want to develop this intuition. The only way to do that is through massive input. We talked about reading, but I want to be specific. You need to read things that contain dialogue. Novels are great for this. In novels, people talk to each other. You see how they interrupt each other. You see how they use slang. You see how they express anger and love. If you read enough dialogue, your brain starts to store these patterns. One day you will be speaking, and a phrase will pop out of your mouth that you did not even know you knew. You will think, where did that come from? It came from your massive input. So the habit is to read at least 2 pages of dialogue-heavy text every day. It could be a play script, a movie script, or a modern novel. Feed your intuition. Now, let's address the fear of making phone calls. This is often the hardest task because you cannot see the other person's face. You cannot read their lips or their body language. To practice this, use the customer service simulation. You do not have to actually call anyone. You can role play. Imagine you have to call an airline to change a flight. Script out the conversation. What will you say? Hello, I would like to reschedule my flight. Then imagine what they will say. Can I have your booking reference, please? Then imagine your reply. It is XYZ. Practice saying these numbers and letters clearly. The alphabet is often something intermediate learners neglect, but spelling your name or giving a reference number is a crucial, real-life skill. Practice spelling your name, your street address, and your email address out loud until you can do it at high speed. My email is j.smith@email.com. Practice the dot and the @ symbol. This preparation will make you feel much calmer when you actually have to make a real call. We should also talk about the power of curiosity regarding your own culture. You might think, I want to learn about British or American culture, and that is true, but you will often be asked about your own culture. People will ask you, what is the food like in your country? Or what are the weddings like? The daily habit is the cultural ambassador. Pick one aspect of your own culture, a holiday, a dish, a tradition, and practice explaining it in English. How would you describe the taste of your favorite local spice? How would you explain the steps of a traditional dance? This is empowering because you are the expert. You know more about your culture than the person asking. It puts you in a position of authority. Practice these explanations in the shower or on your walk. If you get stuck on a word, look it up. Knowing how to share your own identity in English is just as important as understanding the target culture. Let us bring in a habit for the digital nomads and the workers. The email draft. We all write emails. Before you send an email in your native language, take 30 seconds to draft it mentally in English. How would you write this if your boss was American? Dear team, please find attached the quarterly report. Best regards. Even if you never send it, this mental translation keeps your business English sharp. It reminds you of the formal vocabulary. It keeps you ready for the day when you might actually land that international job. It turns a mundane work task into a quick language drill. Now, I want to discuss the concept of shadowing again, but with a twist. This is emotional shadowing. Instead of just copying the words, I want you to copy the feeling. Find a scene in a movie where the character is really angry or really sad. Copy them. Scream if you have to. Into a pillow if you have neighbors. Cry if you have to. Why? Because English has a different emotional range than your language. In some languages, you speak very flatly to be polite. In English, we use a lot of pitch variety to show interest. If you speak English with the flat intonation of your native language, you might sound bored or rude to a native speaker. By practicing extreme emotions, you stretch your vocal range. You learn how to use pitch to show empathy. You learn that going up at the end of a sentence makes you sound friendly. It loosens up your expressive muscles. Let's talk about the rule of 3 for adjectives. When you want to describe something and you want to sound poetic or emphatic, use 3 adjectives, not 1, not 2, but 3. For example, the house was old, dark, and mysterious. Or, the puppy was small, energetic, and adorable. This rule of 3 is a classic rhetorical device. It gives your speech a rhythm. It sounds planned and eloquent. Try it today. Look at your lunch. Describe it with 3 adjectives. It is hot, spicy, and satisfying. Look at your pet. He is fluffy, loyal, and lazy. This simple structure makes you sound like an orator. It gives your sentences a satisfying weight. I want to address the feeling of loneliness in learning. Learning a language can feel like a solo journey, but you are never truly alone. There are millions of people doing exactly what you are doing right now. Connect with them. The habit is the community connection. Find a forum, a Facebook group, or a Discord server for English learners. You do not even have to post. Just reading the struggles of others can be comforting. You will see people asking, "Why are prepositions so hard?" And you will think, "Yes, I agree." It validates your struggle. And if you feel brave, leave a comment of encouragement, saying, "You can do it." To someone else actually reinforces your own belief that you can do it too. Helping others is a powerful way to help yourself. Let us talk about the environment of your learning. We mentioned changing your phone settings. Now let's change your physical space. The labeling game. If you are a visual learner, write the English names of household items on sticky notes and stick them everywhere. Fridge, mirror, kettle, bookshelf. But for B2 learners, single words are too easy. Write full phrases. Instead of just mirror, write "You look beautiful today." Instead of coffee machine, write brewing energy. Put idioms on the bathroom mirror. Put phrasal verbs on the fridge door. Every time you open the fridge to get a snack, you have to read, look forward to, or put up with. This passive exposure is relentless. You cannot ignore it. It forces the language into your brain through your eyes multiple times a day. Now, let us discuss the concept of filler words. In your native language, you use sounds to fill the silence while you think. In English, we use words like, like actually. If you use your native filler sounds while speaking English, it breaks the illusion of fluency. The daily habit is the adopt English fillers. When you need to think, do not make the sound you usually make. Use well, or let me see, or that is a good question, or, These are safe zones. They tell the listener, I am still speaking, I am just thinking. They sound natural. Listen to interviews with native speakers and count how many times they say like or, it is a lot. Do not be afraid to use them. They are the glue that holds the conversation together while your brain is constructing the next sentence. I want to challenge you to think about your English persona. Do you feel like a different person when you speak English? Many people do. You might be shy in your first language but louder in English. Or maybe you are serious in your first language but funnier in English. Embrace this. Your English persona is a new version of you. It is a chance to reinvent yourself. If you want to be more confident, act like a confident English speaker. It is like putting on a mask, but the mask eventually becomes your face. Use this persona to take risks. If English Jessica makes a mistake, that is okay, because she is learning. It protects your ego. It gives you a safe distance from your errors. Let us wrap up this deep dive into daily habits by talking about the long game. We are not training for a sprint. We are training for a marathon. There will be rainy days. There will be days when you want to quit. That is why these habits are small. On the bad days, you do not have to climb a mountain. You just have to listen to 5 minutes of audio. You just have to write 3 sentences. You just have to label one object. The bar is low so that you never have to fail. Success is not about doing big things once. It is about doing small things always. You are building a chain of days. Do not break the chain. And if you do break it, do not beat yourself up. Just start a new chain the next day. One meaningful way to stay motivated is to connect your English learning to a deeper purpose. Why are you learning? Is it to get a better job? Is it to travel the world? Is it to understand movies without subtitles? Or is it simply to prove to yourself that you can do it? Keep this why clearly in your mind. Write it down on a piece of paper and stick it to your mirror. When you feel too tired to do your daily habits, look at that paper. Remind yourself of the freedom that English will give you. It is the key to a global community. It connects you to millions of people, millions of ideas, and millions of opportunities that you would not have access to otherwise. As we move towards the end of our session today, I want to give you a specific challenge for the next 7 days. I call it the 7-day English Sprint. For the next week, I want you to choose just 2 of the habits we discussed today. Just 2. Do not try to do everything at once. Maybe you choose the 5-minute active listening and the 3-sentence journal. Commit to doing these 2 things every single day for 7 days. No excuses. If you miss a day, that is okay. Just start again the next day. But try your best to keep the streak. At the end of the 7 days, take a moment to reflect on how you feel. Do you feel a bit more confident? Is listening a little bit easier? I guarantee you will see a difference. And once those 2 habits become automatic, like brushing your teeth, you can add a 3rd one. This is how you build a skyscraper, brick by brick. Let's review the emotional journey of learning. It is a roller coaster. Some days you will feel like a genius. You will have a conversation and the words will flow perfectly, and you will understand every joke. Hold on to those moments. Cherish them. Other days you will feel like you have forgotten everything. You will stutter. You will forget basic words, and you will feel embarrassed. Be kind to yourself on those days. It happens to everyone, even native speakers. I have days where I cannot find the right word or I stumble over my sentences. It does not mean you are failing. It just means you are human. The most successful learners are not the ones who are the smartest. They are the ones who do not quit on the bad days. They take a deep breath, smile, and try again tomorrow. I want you to think about the environment you create for yourself. Surround yourself with English. Put sticky notes on your furniture with the English names. Listen to English music and try to sing along. Watch English movies and try to copy the actors. Make it fun. Make it playful. The more joy you bring into your learning, the faster you will learn. The brain remembers what it enjoys. If you are bored, your brain will delete the information. So if you are listening to something and it is boring, stop. Find something else. There is so much content out there. Find topics that light a fire in your heart. If you love history, listen to history podcasts. If you love science, watch science documentaries. Use English as a tool to learn about the world, not just as a subject to be studied. I really hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take action. This journey to fluency is yours. You are the driver. You have the power to change your skills every single day. It is not about talent. It is not about how young you are. It is about the daily habits you choose to cultivate. You are capable of reaching that advanced level. I believe in you, and this community believes in you. We are all in this together, learning, growing, and improving one step at a time. Now, before I let you go to start your amazing day, I have a small favor to ask. If you found this episode helpful, if it gave you a new idea or a boost of motivation, please consider supporting the channel. The best way you can do that is to subscribe to English in Advance. By subscribing, you ensure that you never miss a lesson, and you join a family of learners just like you. Also, please leave a like on this video or podcast. It really helps us reach more people who need help with their English. And I would love to hear from you in the comments section. I want to know which habit you are going to choose for your 7-day sprint. Are you going to try the shadowing technique? Are you going to start a micro journal? Or are you going to change your phone settings? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love seeing your progress. Seeing you commit to your goals inspires me to keep creating this content for you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for investing in yourself. Remember, every small step counts. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You are doing great. I am Jessica. This is English in Advance, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful English-filled day. Goodbye for now.